is here with us. Members of the branch, International Branch Committee, member of the branch executive, past honorary chairperson of the institute, members of the institute, and invited guests and panelists. Exactly 10:13, we are hereby call this 2023 International Conference to order. May we please rise for the national anthem. Media.
Via the speakers. Those round knobs are the speakers in the material. The emergency responder will be on ground beside the material. So in case of incidents, accidents and near misses, we have trained first aiders in the house. We also have an in-house nurse.
Please a round of applause for her. Thank you so much. And we quickly move on to the recognition of guests after we have called to order. Is presently in over 100 countries globally, in which Nigerian region is one of them. And we have an individual who is in Nigeria arresting on the 1st of the fellow of the institute and also we have in our midst the first honorary chairman of the Institute of Hospitality, who was interim chairman 2010. I'm sure after him we have a lady who was the chairperson between 2014 and 2017. She's unavoidably absent, but somebody will be representing her. Oh, you are here. Please, ma'am. Please. Welcome, representing the second chairperson who served between 2014 and 2017, Mrs. Kenji Daniel. We are represented by one of our managers. Please come and sit as chairman. Also, we have in our list the third chairman of the honorary chairman of the Institute of Hospitality, who served between 2017 and 2020. Fortunately, he's wearing so many caps today. He's also a keynote speaker. I'm sure he will be happy, even though he has not been happy with me. But I'm sure he'll be happy at the tempo which we are ending this race. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Do you know there is something about conscience, even when you are a bad person? You know? So it's better you are a bit on time so that so people will know you have actually repented. We also have professional, because he still thinks he's still as young as I am. Mr. Femi Falipita, the Vice Regional Chairman of the Institute of Hospitality, the chairman of this conference, and also, I'll tell you the third one later, Mr. Femi Falebita. Now, you see, Mr. Femi Falebita, the one I don't want to say, let me say it, is our incoming regional chair. And he will be the first in the history of the Institute, in the history of Africa, that he will be inducted as a chairperson in the presence of a trustee of the Institute. That's a record we need to keep. Thank you so much. Others, I'm sure during my time, it was a Zoom meeting. You see, we are getting better now. It's a live meeting, no longer Zoom. Thank you so much. We have also in our midst the managing editor of Travel Log, Mr. Omolu. Travel Scope magazine, Mr. Omolu. He has been the friend of the house. I also have the organizer, the convener of IHETF, in which the hospitality has been a major partner. In fact, it's an endorsed event of the IOH, and IOH plays major part in that event year in, year out. Permit me to welcome Mr. Diala. He traveled down from Delta State to be part of this event. You have to excuse that we're going to pass the microphone round at a point so that others can introduce themselves. But I think do that.
Any institution in Africa, most especially tertiary institutions. Thank you.
My name is months doing pre-opening activity. Locked up. I mean, I was totally locked up. I couldn't step out. And then one day, one very great day, we were asked to just go out, go and have a great time. And of course, I got into my agbada, like my organ, down there. I put on my cap, Nigerian cap, and I stepped out into Botswana, Gaborone. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a culture shock in my life when I think about protocol. You know, protocol is about what you are doing, what you I got onto the bus stop. There were just about 5 of them at the bus stop, and they were queuing. You remember my background from Lagos? And there were these 5 people, and they were queued. I just turned around like this and said, "What wasting time?" Then, as the bus was Nigerian, I just opened the door. I just entered. As I entered, like this. The big race. They ran away. I mean, everybody just scattered in different directions. So I was wondering, I just said my car. And then they came out one by one. The driver couldn't be found. Then finally the driver came around. Then he said, "Mona!" Mona means Mr. Man. "Mona, what attacking? What's the problem?" What attacking means, what's the problem? I said, "No problem. I'm just catching the bus." They say, You. My friend, where are you from? I said, "Nigeria." They say, "Why?" Members and all those that have shown interest in the Institute Hospitality in Nigeria. We acknowledge all the people that are particularly grateful that you have decided to participate in this. There are a lot of new people that are non-members. Now, this indicates the potential operation. We are going to cash in on this, so that those of you that are here are non-members, we're going to talk to you because we want you to become members. Now, the theme for today's conference is hospitality and tourism reset. So your presence is actually an indication, it's a match for our theme. There's freshness, there's newness, a reset. And I'm going to just boldly say here that today's promises to be innovative, educative, and inspiring, and it's going to be pushing a lot professionalism in our beloved industry. And I'll just mention it before I go and take my seat. That professionalism, if you define it, and this is my own personal definition that I love so much. Professionalism just means playing the game according to the UK Nigeria region. Thank you.
Well, that is now I can stand on establishing well-established protocol, and then I will enjoin every other person to please stand on that so that you don't have to hear from my lawyer if you don't call my name properly. So thank you, our conference chairman, for that wonderful welcome address. We move on to item 3, which is the address by the regional chairman of the Institute of Hospitality. Permit me once again to stand on this already established protocol, and to also join our conference chairman to welcome everyone to this year's 2023 International Conference of the Institute of Hospitality, Nigeria region, international region. We are happy that the UK body also take cognizance of what's likely to play in the future of the Institute. We are also happy that this position is recognized, even when the Ghana region is being planned to be reactivated. Nigeria is playing an active role, and I'm sure the branch will also want to continue to play a role in ensuring the Ghana branch comes back to life, Botswana returns back to life, and possibly Ghana also back to life. Keja, as members assembly, were there present, endorsements with financial institutions, with other private investors, and they have to meet all these obligations. It's a good thing. For clarity, that's charter status at the National Assembly. But to make ourselves relevant in all their decisions so that our positions as members of the IRH can be protected. Like I was at a conference and they were discussing, and I said it will not fly. Because when the, now another term, after which you have to step aside. In 2010, we passed, and they agreed. There are some other issues that we initiated. Now, in the new regional law that was, so it shows position as Nigerians in when we came in 2020, it's 2023. Any branch anywhere, if Nigeria was used as guinea pig, but they now realize we need to centralize this. The branch should just manage activities of members and expansion, and during our time operating in isolation of the UK, we're actually partners in progress. Also, we have workshops. We had workshops on power holding, which was attended by the Ikeja distribution and Eco distribution, where we have very meaningful discussions. It's unfortunate what we agree we could not achieve, but I think the window is still open for conference. If there is an reason you have the conference, they will tell you, yes, we are busy, we cannot come. But when they have issues of quality service, they can put it on our face at the industry. Your people are not qualified. When you pay peanut the pain, you don't get the praise. Train yourself, acquire the knowledge, then you be your own boss. This as will are ready, and we could not. Mr. Branefa, your seat is to my left on the top table, one of our panel. Thank you so much for coming. And that made us to cancel that event because it's of no use having to call an event and I don't have my members presented, at least represented. And that is the first assignment of a branch to its members, development of its members. Then the second one is promotion. But that notwithstanding, this is still 2023, and here we have 24. Yes, 2025. It's not too late. You have 3 years. So because it takes time. Now you can see, we are not saying because they are not here, they are not working. They are. But most of us that are aspiring today and they ask you, what have you done to the institute, to your industry? That is what will take you to heaven. Ask yourself, what will you tell Jesus I have done that will open the gate? I can tell you some of people who are here have left hospitality. What is putting food in their mouth is hospitality. Some of us that were in hospitality, we've learned from them and we're looking at the not hospitality. But what would people ask? What have you done while you had the energy to drive hospitality? I'm sure those are the kind of words that are driving people like Mr. Dayo Adesuba that keeps remaining young and younger. May the good Lord preserve you for us. Today we are here, and I must commend this conference. And do we have a word like abalistic? Because I'll say that's probably what happened. It is so miraculous. I know you have to say, apart from what we have done, in 2010, focus was how do we get IOH started. But in 2011, the focus changed. We are divided in this country. What are we going to do? And 2012, he hosted the executive of Atman at his hotel, Best Western, then Best Western Tony Street, when they brought their annual conference to Lagos. And we have wonderful talks, discussions. We can't keep dividing this industry. And we think we're going to have that golden tulip during the era of Mrs. Kennedy Daniel, where we had about, that was where we realized we have over 15 professional bodies in Nigeria claiming hospitality and tourism. But we're happy all their representatives were there. And at that that will not be partisan. And at that meeting, Mrs. Kennedy Daniel was agreed to be the chairperson of the Mirror Committee, while I served as the secretary of that committee. After a while, we keep engaging them. And I'm happy to report, I'm sure I've not told anybody, that now in the next few months, we'll be hearing of a new body to be formed, which will be referred to as the Nigerian Tourism and Hospitality Institute, NTHI. This will be a merger of the NHCI, Nigeria Hotel and Catering Institute, which was formed by Ichman in 1972, and Atman, Hotel and Tourism Management Association of Nigeria. In fact, Atman has passed that resolution at their last AGM for the merging of Atman with NHCI to form NTHI. This, I can tell you, is a plus to the efforts of the Institute and others. The essence is we need to work within to get results. Likewise, myself, I'm a fellow of Atman. Atman was having the honor of the nomination of the Council of the Nigeria Hotel and Catering Institute to be its second national vice president. So stepping down today is not as if I'm leaving the industry. Stepping down is because there are other roles for me to play within the industry. It never been in vain. These are the efforts people have put in place, and I want to thank them for giving us that vision. An associate of the Institute, Boyne, we're trying to talk Mrs. Kennedy Daniel into taking over. His vice was Mr. Duroshomo, who was late, and we had to talk Mrs. Kennedy. And Mrs. Kennedy they were negotiating me behind me. They were sitting over I was like, wow. So I'm not a commodity for exchange. But there's something about this man to the potential of that talent. We want to invite Mr. Latunde Luloyi, FIH Honorary Chairman 2011 to 2014, and tell him, I'm sure our trustee will be resonating with this best award. And we please show it for, put it on, let the cat out of the bag. And that is to a young boy who have done so well also to this industry. Came into Nigeria in 1983, and since then he has been working at the development of hospitality business in Nigeria. He's married to Nigeria, and virtually all the brands were in 2010. It was just an email, and he said, look, these guys will do it, and we will. Even as on those they don't know, because you need to develop this industry. If you must bring in an ambassador to Africa, it has to be people from within Africa that understand the vision, that the people that easily relate. That African is not like European country that you can be in Russia and decide and tell people what happen in France. Even in Nigeria, you can't tell what can happen in Kaduna within a country. That is polarized, that there should be a solution for the development of the state in Africa. And what should be the best? Most of us, they take for issue prestige, they take to pay tools and the back, and not on investment. It will be the Nigeria if that would. And I answered, and I said, W Hospitality is already an industry partner to the IOH. And the last benefit there is the CEO of our industry partner present the company on our platform, and he has free invite to attend any of our events. So if you are off the platform, how do I send the invitation to you? HL, inform, this is not just a conference. During the conference end, we'll be changing guard, and we'll be having a new regional chairman, and somebody will be taking over from his boss as immediate chairman, and somebody will be taking over from his boss as immediate past, and immediate past will become a past. Now that's transition. But it's very important for every member of this. We are now in an era 14 plus that can do camera and video. I decided to put on a pancake, and I'll be showing the world. This is how I make my egg, and dancing in the kitchen, leaving all the technicalities of that profession. And you'll be seeing 1,000, 2 million likes. I said that it's online training, you pay 1,000, you pay 5,000. And before you know it, a lot of people have started learning crafts. In hospitality, I learned, and we cook. You have to boil of members' reputation. It is key, and we have to find a way to do it. We had an event paid for, members did not show. Less than 10% are actual members. Then you keep asking, then what is it? You keep complaining you don't get the support. You are getting the support, you are not showing. Even those online, over 60% are non-members. But it's good for the new, and these are challenges. Those who are there online, those who are here, but putting your name, I can tell you between our next week, you get our trustee, she works with the negotiator, our discussant that are here. Therefore, he has a flight to catch by 6, so we'll probably be leaving around 12:30. So he will be one of the panelists for the first paper. Also, we'll be joined online by Mr. Benga Sunday. His flight was changed. He was supposed to fly in from this morning. I've told him he should connect with us in Zoom, and he's going to be connecting with us. I want to thank you so much. Without everybody, for your role, physically, those online, thank you so much. Even for your willingness not to attend our event, has challenged us to bring in over 100 new people to witness what IOH can offer. So I want to thank you. And
Good morning, professional colleagues. Permit me to stand on existing protocol. I'm very delighted to be here. Alive, finally. It's been a bit of time since we came together on this platform. I think the last time we came together was when I was exiting, sometime in 2020, if I'm correct. Certainly, it's always an exciting thing to be in the midst of colleagues. Of course, we all know that the industry is changing very quickly, expeditiously. Whichever way it's basically the trajectory, it's kind of, for some of us, it's a bit shocking. And it's true that most things are shocking in the world at this stage. For us that were part of the last millennium, we are privileged to live in 2 millennia. 2 millennia, is that English correct, Michael? In last 20th century. Let me see anyone here that lived in 20th century. You're part of the 20th century. Nobody apart from me. That means that everybody, right? Okay. Okay. Industry has changed. In my days, we used to have the box type of phone, which I think was actually stood up. Okay, maybe leveler, things level out, and there's a lot of fighting and stuff like that amongst the races. But in Europe, it's a bit different. So I was a little bit taken aback. Then when it comes to service, I realized that what we learned, I mean, about 55, how many years I have some of my staff over time. Of time. The experience I live in the market in everything. For us, a clean shave, soup, and it can happen. Okay, it's on Nigeria. I can in the oh no, it's very difficult to work with you. If you are going to doing all on the island. Young men, skillful, about bartending. So we have a whole thing. So we have a whole lot of mixed up stuff. And I was telling him, hey, young man, you need to remove your beard. And the young man is changed, his face changed. This face changing thing is so common that it beats me. And I, why is that? And I said, Syria and value. Boxing, and there's a value proposition. The value proposition is that the guest is paying for the nodes. Infrastructure is a connecting node, definitely, that connects us very strongly in the hospitality space. Roads, airports. There's always this debate about tourism and hospitality. Hospitality drives tourism. You can't say tourism is hospitality. We know that you can't do hospitality without those fundamentals. I've seen it happen many times. With no inkling of what you do. Air tickets. You get what I'm saying? So when you say tourism is a low-hanging fruit, I can believe that with you. But you can't say hospitality is a low-hanging fruit. You have to go for some down-to-earth training. Hospitality is a spirit. You can't offer hospitality outside the spirit of hospitality. That's the bottom line truth. Hospitality is strong. Hospitality must form you. It's either you're formed or you're not formed. You can't pretend hospitality. And that's the bottom line truth. And it has, then when you recognize and you realize that you're hospitality, you now have to learn the skills of hospitality. Okay? Now, the connecting nodes we see very clearly. What are we? Infrastructural development. Infrastructural development actually is the core that actually ties hospitality together. Energy, we can't do without energy. Okay? Potable water, and of course, information and technology. So I sat down and I thought these things through, and I realized that these things, as most of these things, if not all, makes hospitality. I had the opportunity of staying in a place called Mongina, some safari place in South Africa, and the road that leads to that place is perfect. Perfect. Okay, so you can't beat that. I mean, today, how many people visit the slave place in Badagry? Literally nobody, because the roads to get there is horrendous. I mean, traveling on that road, boys, and all that, I mean, we have Ikogosi, Warm Springs. Now we're getting Ikogosi, Warm Springs is getting traffic because the road there is quite accessible, okay? So of course, we understand it very perfectly. Human capital as a connecting node. This is where we are really going to narrow down I'm going to narrow down my address. Human capital as a connecting node. People, external patronage, external patronage, Please, if you have a question, please note it down, because I would like us to take a bit of feedback. People, external patronage. People, external patronage. Oh, maybe you should do this. Please, let's welcome Dr. Belinda Nwosu. Going to pause so that she can give us a good will.
Apologies, I must leave for a meeting, so I'm sorry to butt in. Just a few words, just to welcome you all to this amazing conference. I joined IOH in 1998, so I'm 25 years this year. IOH. And I must say, one of the things that strikes me really is the fact that this is a platform for professionals. I started as a student member and trustee today. And we have intention that we're going to draw any benefit from the institute. So that requires you to actually participate and become that professional. That is a person they should do.
Please,
control 24/7, right? I went into one of the big pharmacies the other day and doors were generator, and I said, wow, we've fallen very, very, very low. But we're 15,250 members in this institution across 75 plus countries. There are solutions amongst ourselves to happen. So I think professionals, we need to navigate and present solutions today. We're not breeds confidence, but education breeds skill. So I'd just like to tied into what you just said, Dio, that we need to leverage the resources that this institute has available in order to achieve all of this. And more importantly, diversity. We need to be more diverse as an institute, because when there's groupthink, we're stuck in the same puddle, on and on again, and regurgitating the same problems and solutions. Let's think of how we can develop diversity in our teams and also in the institute as well, so that we can have fresh.
That it's as if she gave. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
I'm welcoming our senior colleague, Alaji Bankole Moritala. It's good to have you. You're always very supportive. See you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much. So, human capital as a connecting node, people external patronage, people internal patronage, our staff, okay? And of course, the issue of education, the level of education that my about a third of my own period of overseeing the affairs of the institute was during COVID-19. Literally at a point things just shut down. Okay, but we were able to win. Terrorism, you can't stop it. Terrorism. Right now, have you noticed that the wars being fought today, terrorism prone, or basically what you see is terrorism. I mean, the Hamas and killing all they killed, Israel now retaliating. It's all terrorism. Terrorism is basically creating terror. How would you decide on endingly keep bombing a particular small area? For how many days now? And then over 16,000 are killed and everybody is just shouting, just talking. Okay? So we see that thing terror. All me went and bombed one village in Kaduna. I had that as at this morning about 127 are dead. Recession, of course, everybody's experiencing it. No matter how rich you are, I'm very sure that what you are buying in the market, I mean, look at the percentage increase of inflation. It's average of 26-27% in the last roughly 1 year. Undefined standards. Undefined standards. Standards are no more defined. Anything just goes. Compromised standards, and where they're defined, they are compromised. Lack of regulations. No regulations. Regulations, zero. Government doesn't regulate. Politicians, you want them to regulate themselves, then you will find out that that's not going to happen. Okay? Low funding capacity. I mean, funding is key for any hotel project, any compliance. Mediocre education, people are not so careful about their education anymore. They're not so, well, sometimes I see the shallow debates. And I see that the level is if the debate is shallow, it simply means that the level of education is shallow. You get what I'm saying? Okay? Mediocre education, mediocre training. That's even worse. Forks and dessert knives being served on the table as dinner knives and dinner forks and all those things.
Rice fork.
Rice fork. And it's shocking. I'm going to mention names. I was in one event at the hotel the other day. Yet, hasn't something. Training must become action. It must be implementable. I will carry plates professionally, even in my house. You guys are based on the menu. Okay? Silverware. Then you see them serving wine. But you kill the wine. You just kill the wine. And then you see them mixing wine with Maltina. Now you just messed up the whole thing. Then you see service of wine. Totally dead. Just don't worry, I'll take labeling. You don't do any of those things, you just put wine on the table and just start serving.
It's my wine now.
Wine. For me, it's annoying. And when we say give us money to train, they say they pay peanuts after 40 years of industry experience. I started this thing when I was 16. Not to talk of my senior colleagues like Alaji, 16 years old. I don't know anything but hospitality. Then you want to serve white wine in a champagne tulip, on a highball glass, or in a mug. Can I get my slides back, please? So we're killing the industry. Mediocre training, weak governance systems. Let's be clear, everything has gone down south. No more ethics. Because the time is gone. Everybody, I wanted to park. You get what I'm saying? Say these things because this business is a business of integrity.
Yes, sir.
That is true. Please, can we clap for
It's a business of integrity. I can't forget my phone in your hotel and come back and I can't be. You can't offer me hot food and it's served cold. That's lack of integrity. You can't offer me it's just data, collecting data. We need more. And of course, there's a particular niche that they've been able to carve for themselves. So there are other areas where we need to come in and say we need to get these things and make them public. So I'm actually, between the unforeseen and the designed, there's the unforeseen. The unforeseen, you talk about pandemics. You can't do anything. Okay? About some of these things, we come from the fact that we are disobedient, very disobedient. I mean, they yam. Yam was always. I don't know. Maybe this generation is seeing blacks of, fertilizers and all the chemicals and all these things. When we take our products abroad, they send them back. So we're not really doing anything. Maybe music. Yes, they produce music, but those boys, they will spend the money on buying Rolls Royces and all those things. They're not going to set up any factory. They're not going to employ anybody. So the recession will always be there if, like I said, we don't produce. And we can't produce without any years down or hybrids. So we're going to drink our oil one day down the road if we're not very smart and very quick, very sharp. You just find out that inclement weather, you can't do anything about it. What can we do? What are the things that we can now say that we have the capacity and the power to bring changes? So let's begin to look at it. The virus, lack of regulations. And what's the answer to lack of regulations? We talk about undefined standards, compromised standards. Just used to be asking money for for speaking in a conference. Man, I'm not beginning to be invited conference speaker. As you're getting paid for, no white man will speak in your conference. If you don't give them $5,000, they start from $5,000 conference fee. If you bring a white man in here now, he's going to collect nothing less than $10,000 from you. And you will put him up in a hotel, putting these things together. These are things that are put together over years. And then you want it for free. It's intellectual property. We don't respect intellectual property. What kind of humans are we for real?
We are what we are.
What we are is destructive. Destroying who we are. These things have to change. So they expect you to come and speak for free. But I can speak in this conference. I don't want it to come down, and it's not going to come down. So I know his challenge is during that time, during his tenure. Different from my challenge, and I said it's not going to happen again. He's going to be the last person that we are not going to gather to lift up the hands of the primary leader. So we're going to jump from his own time and jump into his own time. So that's why we are very careful now in determining who sits on the executive of IOH going forward. So we are specifically, encouraging those that can carry the weight to stand up and do the right thing. We've had too many talk, cheap talk. Talk is cheap. Industry collaboration is almost zero. See, the industry now is event-driven, not performance-driven. Everybody wants to do an event, whether it is relevant or not. We should stop that. And all these events are done so that, we can leverage our own personal businesses. And we do nothing to promote, we started with this brand. Marriott is now Sheraton. We started with Sheraton. You can't even dream about it. truthfully, it's a policy that nobody.
Yeah.
Because senior management is supposed to oversee line management to make sure that line management, the operatives have to do what the policy requires. And when it comes to procedures, training has to come in. Training, we had so much training that our brains were trained to do what is right. So up till today, if I come into your hotel, the first thing I do is I look up. If there is one of these sockets, if there's no power coming through it, I know the hotel is short. So I went there to go and see what transpired 18 years ago. Of course, they're having issues, serious issues. It's like this and you don't see it. The young man who put up that thing just about an hour ago had wood shavings on the ground before you guys came in. I don't know if they clean. You can't see that kind of a thing and you walk over it. That means you didn't see it. Blind people don't do hospitality. You do hospitality with the eyes. Most people will tell me you see with the eyes. No, you don't see with the eyes, you see with your brain. So the brain is defective when you can't see those things. So we shouldn't be having all this mediocrity in the business. We have a lot of people in the business that are not supposed to be in the business to do jobs in Nigeria. And I always tell people that's a myth. Weak governance systems, mediocre training, we talked about that earlier on. Mediocre education. There was a time I had a young man. I take a lot of young people. They even stay in my house.
6 more minutes. I love that.
Well, I'll quickly try and just. And the young man wanted to study journalism, and his command of English was below what was applicable. I mean, what was. How many of you remember Brighter Grammar? But thank God he listened, and he went back to Brighter Grammar. Cook English language properly. A lot of our general managers need to go back to Brighter Grammar. I don't know how to write their reports. And who reads their Scourge, yeah. Okay. You see that? That's the owner beating the staff with a whip. Scourging them with a whip. Some of the owners have literally messed the industry up.
You have no reason to be there.
Self-regulate, guys. It's time to start self-regulating. Forget government. Forget all those people. Let's all come together and say we're going to regulate ourselves. Let's all agree to a particular standard that we will all observe as professionals. Let's self-regulate. Undefined standards, let's define the standards. You can tell me you start from the left, and I tell you I start from the right. Let us have a common standard for whether you start from the left and then you clear place from the right. But it's not that I come to your hotel and say this and this. Let's have clear standards. Let's define them. Let's start standards and then define them properly. Why must we left or clear place from the right or this and that? But I agree that this is a standard. Can't be 5 minutes anymore. Just give me my laptop. Don't worry, I will take it from mine. Oh, it's vast. Are we on the same page? I'm sure Chris is jumping in his heart, saying, "This is what we'll be talking about." Because I stay, I go to Abuja, and I always say yes. This is the way it ought to be. Thank God for our background, our schooling, where we started from, the way we were raised, and we have to insist on those things. We can't continue like this. I found out that there's a niche for us to fill. When standards are even falling globally, then why don't we raise the standards and take it back to what it used to be? Okay? We have to guide compliance. When we're talking of undefined standards, we first of all have to define the standards, and then we have to guide compliance. They must be willing okay, to enforce compliance. Then there must be reward and award. Do well. Yes. You shouldn't be rewarding them. You didn't do well, you didn't do well. Now, we're not just going to say you didn't do well and we're going to leave you like that. We're going to say that if there's alliance, okay, then there must be a downgrade, but support. Do you understand? If there is lack of compliance, there must be a downgrade, but there must be support. And if there's consistent lack of compliance, even when the support has been offered, then there must be a denunciation. The brand has to be denounced. Or else you award bad behavior. Think about it. You can't go to school and fail, and then at the end of the term, they call you out for a present. I've never seen that happen before. Then they give you an award for failure. Only in Nigeria. So we give awards for failure. It's amazing. Mediocre training. We have to assess training programs. If you agree to self-regulation, then you bring your training program, we assess it. He is a professor of hospitality. Thank God. We have trainers here that have trained for years. Then let's see what your training program, what it's all about. We have to collaborate with ITF to assess funding. There's money in ITF. But ITF will not come and tell you that money belongs to you for as long as you are contributing to ITF every year. Every contributor to ITF has access to training money. But the industry practitioners, so ITF sits on that money and then they share it.
Of course.
Even mentoring when you are doing well will not tell you are doing well because you have not given him your. I submit myself to some of these guys to be mentored. Okay? You are not older than mentoring at any age. The only one that does not follow is God. I think we need to localize it a bit because I'm part of that mentoring program. And since I've signed up for the mentoring program, I've not received any protege. Really? The mentoring program is is well structured. I have all the videos and everything regarding that mentoring program. So we have to submit to mentoring. Of course, mediocre education, encourage management and operatives to go back to school. I'm still in school. I'm still just discussing my PhD with Belinda. She wants me to run my PhD at Lagos Business School, and she's giving me what it's going to cost me. It's going to cost me less than what I'm going to have to pay abroad. You know? The school is lifelong. I don't know what you are doing with if you don't engage your brain, it will atrophy. That's the true side of our brain. Because once you are right-handed, it's going to be the left side. The right side of your brain, most times, is dead. So you have to learn new things, totally new things. Not what you've known before that you keep practicing. If you've never driven, then go learn driving. Just learn something new. Okay? I've gone back to languages now. Duolingo. How many of you have heard of Duolingo? I've gone back to Duolingo. Then you know, what can you get from a dumb staff? Dumb product. Scholarships have to be given out. Encourage those that want to go to school and make sure that they go to school. You talked about, if you have monkeys, if you pay peanuts, yes, bottom line. Weak governance systems, ethics training. We need to introduce ethics training at every point in time. Good friends, brothers, over here, come together. Mr. Kalebita and first chairman, we just talked what we call ethical hospitality. and we're starting a platform called Ethical Hospitality. Some things are not just done. Okay? So, every policy sessions, practitioners keep talking about SOPs. Nobody's talking about policies. There's a difference between SOPs and your policies. Okay? The SOPs are not being implemented anyway. You just go to the internet, your policy, what are your operations policy, what are your finance policy, your strategic policy. So there you will see issues with service. It can be you see, one thing I found out is that these owners, they spend all the money on the aesthetics of human beings to walk you through. All the money, do this. So there's a place just open in Lagos and even smile because they're not paying them properly. And the smile is the currency of hospitality. So I'm going to stop here. There's a lot of things to still talk about. But my hope is that this is kind of inspiring for us to note this, that I've put inside of this form of evaluate and add to some of these things. This is what I'm thinking. This is okay. And I mean, and we can hope, evaluate has always been an umpire in the business in Nigeria. You know, trying to make sure that there's collaboration amongst the institutes and the associations and amongst all the practitioners so that we can build a very
we're going to make a little adjustment to the program. We're going to have item 6 followed by item 8. Then we're going to merge item 7 and 9 together so that we'll have only one panel session. And because this session is more of technical and more of product direction into something, so we'll give it before, but I think some people are interested to know how they can get their money stopped.
Collaboration. Build their own profession or have costs in their own profession. Build it up. But those who own them, then somebody who knows nothing will now be teleguiding and micromanaging the profession that's managing it. When we get off it, we should be able to control our industry ourselves. We should be able to control our industry ourselves. We can't open an hospital and say, my brother will run it. Then go and build more mortuaries. So, and when brought them together, during the incoming committees, the chairperson, the regional chairman, you have work to do. You have to do more than what you met there. If you cannot add value to what you met on the table, then you don't have any business being there. If you can add value to it, then leave it the way it is and let others who want to add value to it come on board. I also want to encourage all, this is our own industry. If you don't build it, if you don't work for it, nobody will do it.
Yeah.
We talk about government will not do it. We know that. If we don't work on it now, you have the new world, best hotel in the world now. The owner will make his money. They have to get poorer at their expense. Use them, pay them peanuts. I run a consulting firm, and my partner is British. We've opened hotels in Nigeria, and we look at the way these owners treat staff welfare. You get to the hotel, no provision for staff room, nothing for meals. In fact, you help find offices built for staff to use. They take them as if just sit there somewhere, I'll go and sit in your office. At times, we want to create offices. They only bring office for the GM. So if we don't take over, what will you leave as legacy? What mark will you leave that you are there? And I thank God, those who are ahead of us before Abaji is here, those who are coming behind also, we want to encourage them. Build it, profit. God bless you.
Thank you so much. We've had the industry sense part of this conference. Now moving to the business sense. So it's my honor to invite the country manager, One Payment System Limited, Mr. Obolabi, who will be document solution support for international transactions of hospitality and tourism. Mr. Lisa.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephen Erizifle. I am here representing Mr. Henry Wolabi for One Payment Nigeria Limited. All protocols to be observed stand under existing protocol. And I'd like to say it's an honor to be here to share my own input and give my own quarter in terms of the business sense of what we're doing here. So I am with One Payment Nigeria Limited, accompanied by Network International, from Portugal. I'd like to first of all say that it's in its detail. Hospitality is an art and a beauty in its detail. With that much said, when we talk about, when I looked at the team and I saw it about the reawakening. Many times when you talk about reawakening, you refer to when things are probably lying fallow or they are dead, or probably we've gone towards the fall and they need to reposition. When you tell me what is wrong with it, it's only wise that you just come back and say, you know what, this is what I feel it to be. Another awakening and revival in the system, in the hospitality system. A very key and very important activity to do that is technology. Whether you like it or not, you're already in the technology age. And technology is both in the arts of what we're doing, and a key component of that is in the payment sector. Right? Either the payment company or the payment facilitator, any of them, they are very key components in everything you're doing. So also in hospitality, it's a key part of it. And the truth is, if you don't get your payment right, you might no longer have services to offer, because the reason why we are offering these services in the hospitality sector is because we know that we get paid for them. So first of all, we offer the services, and the next thing is to get the payments back for it, right? So if we are not getting properly paid, like most of the speakers have mentioned, over time it will just dry. We won't have any more services to render. And that is why I have some very few thoughts to share. They are anchored on basically three things. All right, I have three thoughts to share. And the first is how seamless is our payment service to our customers? All right. And also, number two is how cost effective is our payment methods for the customers and the merchants. By this, I'm referring to the people who offer the services, the hotel owners, the GMs. And lastly, how efficient is the payment service we offer to our customers. And normally, as we used to design slides and then put up markers and I don't want to bore you with numbers. I'll just tell you very few stories. They will capture exactly what I'm trying to say. Are we together? So, this is Mr. Adam. Let's say Mr. Adam. He's a Swedish scientist, right? He has a very important assignment to do in Africa. He needs to carry out some specific tests and research on some properties that are found basically in Nigeria. And so his focal point is Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja. And so he's doing the booking himself. He goes to an OTA, either of any of them, and they refer him, okay, these are the hotels you're going to. Then he places a call to the hotel and say, hey, good afternoon, I'm coming to XYZ Hotel on so and so day. And I'll be there by this time and everything. I say, oh, we have your reservation. The next thing is payment, right? And then he says, I would like to make a payment. And then the stuttering starts. Okay, when you come, you make a payment. Some hotels will tell you that when you come, you make a payment. Some will say, okay, let's do a round trip. Let's do this. And there is no clear-cut way to make a payment from Sweden. He says, I want to send you a virtual card. I want to do this, I want to send you that. And then the attendant is like, okay, oh sorry, get my gym. And he gets the manager. And like, what
was it developed? So, and it costs a lot of money. Especially monitoring anything. Then I want to check this. Is what I have. So if I get to your place, I'm counting 10 kind of primers is what I have. Then we have a bottling company. Somebody bought a tire and posted it for 17,000. I don't drink wine. You have wine and you want to market your customers that you are actually minimizing or saving cost. I don't drink. If over time you know me, it will help you to put your advertisement. What I take is something else. So, hey, we have new vocal. I mean, your space. It helps you market. And it helps you to analyze. And please permit me to talk about big data. Data will always generate data. Gonna is when 2 years ago, everybody generated average of 100 data. I sent a picture my friend send his friend by somebody that data is your seamless. Talking on this rate is not they can take away people's job. That's not. It's just that it's going to take people who would not know how to operate the machines. So the data from day one, the use case for this thing is so distinct. Your red power and whatever power we calculate, we have it, and we are not scratching our head to look at okay what. So Clapper Global Limited, in association with Institute of Hospitality. Everybody. So I think we are going to give the link to free online setup. Free, we are not open. But free. And for everybody in their questions, we answer at home. That is when we are using. So thank you.
With Managing Director of Food Nigeria Limited. Unfortunately, he will not be joining us. He read it by now, but he sent in the summary of what he intends passing across. Now we'll be sharing the PowerPoint. We have all the emails of the participants. We're going to share the PowerPoint. But I'm going to summarize what. Now, to build an hotel specifically, most people say I've built hotel. When you get just the man said he has spent better where we are working to the task that you have, that makes up the hotel. Now, but when we look at Nigeria as it is, to access fund is about 26%. The material you are going to get tells you a new product that is in town that is being introduced by folk. This is a product that was that has been negotiated with partners, and the partners are strictly UK equipment company and Italy and an Italian equipment company. It comes in as an investment option. So when you are focusing on building your hotel, all the equipment and the flatwares, kitchen, restaurant, laundry, you can get it financed by this person get this material is not going to divert it and sell in the market. And you ask, what is the cost? Now, if I'm going to get a foreign investment from Afrexim, if Afrexim is going to finance a project in Nigeria, the present going rate is 6%. I'll pay LIBOR 1.5. Then it was 1%. So you'll be doing minimum of like 11-12%. But this is going for between 4 and 6%. Depending on your risk exposure, and you have up to 4 years to repay back, which is you want to build a hotel, don't think about the equipment, focus on your aesthetic, focus on the cost of construction, and they can come in the contract construction, they'll be ready to sign, and they will just facilitate. They are not getting commission for facilitating, represent the company discussion where we'll be inviting back our guest speakers. And also we're going to ask some few of our professionals to join them. And please keep your question handy. We have like 15-20 minutes. Thank you so much.
To take it, a glass of cold water. So now we're going into this session. So what we're going to do is, I think there's one extra microphone there. I'm going to ask you to just, in 1 minute, just 1 minute, pitch, make a statement about your product, about your solution. Just a summary of what you are here about. And then you just pass the microphone.
Good afternoon, everybody here. My name is Stephen Teresi.
Currently, we are promoting eco-friendly key cards. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Omadodo Domewa, a tourism writer from Travel School Magazine. What we do basically is that we promote so many hospitality aspects of destinations, and we've been doing this for us.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Olubi Trapper Global Limited. What we do majorly is providing software solutions for businesses.
Our focus is small and medium businesses should be able to use the tools that the big guys use.
My name is Nii Opebi. I'm representing Fold Nigeria Limited. Fold Nigeria is an equipment supplier equipment. We do installations, manage the process, and do back-end services as well. We are here offering to.
Please a round of applause for our participants in this particular. Now, this has been to be. There will be some leading questions that I'm going to ask. It's the software development, and however it concerns you, I would expect you to just come up with some kind of answers. The second part is that we are free here. Questions. I will moderate. That is, if we have enough time, we'll take your question. If you do not have enough time, you may have to defer. So, my first leading question. This is to the international payment solutions. Now, we know the problems with money laundering, laundering money in Nigeria. I don't know how many of us have tried to open bank accounts. And, there's something called how are you going to deal with this? We are at in Nigeria, even account is frozen. How are you going to deal with this?
Thank you. So, one of the first things that happen when we want to board a merchant or seller. So first of all, we do our due diligence. The second thing that we do is that we ensure our company has a 24/7 fraud and risk system.
COP 28. My question is, how does the hospitality industry intend to integrate ESG into the framework, and if any member of the panelists has taken that deliberate step to incorporate ESG sustainability into whatever you're doing with regards to hospitality? So, okay, I'm maybe I should explain what ESG is quickly. Environmental, social, and governance criteria or factors, like environmental, how like the pollution, emissions of the hospitality sector, the social part, obviously involving employees, which I think is a discussion we've had here so many times. There won't be issues of employees stealing if they're well catered for, if they're well met, if they're trained. Human capital development is part of the social criteria. And then governance, obviously your board of directors, are they well comprised? Is there gender equality? Are they well skilled? Like you were saying, a lot of people in the hospitality framework are not actually professionals, like they didn't go and learn. It's just like somebody saying, my sister will take care of my business. So that those are the kind of obviously issues that come with like environmental. So I'm saying, how does this sector, the hospitality sector, because there's no emissions, environmental pollution and stuff like that. So my question really boils down to the fact that what's the hospitality sector in Nigeria, what are they doing to actually, incorporate ESG? Because we have to all think about sustainability. Let me give you an example now. For instance, some hotel in Lekki, if we keep polluting the environment, if you're not doing our parts with CO2 emissions, flooding, the recent floodings we've had in Nigeria, this is December and rain is still falling, which is really weird. It shows climate change is not some kind of fancy, conspiracy theory. It's here. We have issues with our climate, and it's something that everybody needs to do their part in sorting out and being responsible citizens. So my question is, what's the hospitality? Is this something that they've come up with? Every sector, I'm from the corporate sector, so, and I've worked as a researcher for a corporate governance institution, and I work as a freelance researcher. So it's something I see. We've not gotten to where we need to get to in Nigeria.
What are we doing?
But we're doing something. So, but what are you guys doing? Because talk about
some softwares. What are you doing to incorporate?
Thank you very much. Let me say, when Mr. Adedayo Adeshuba was giving
I met some bits of his and some bits.
yeah, a lot of what he talked about was actually addressing. There was a particular part of the slide we talked about the virus. I will continue.
Thank you very much. I don't know whether you were here when I did a bit of introduction of some of the things we do, and I talked about the eco-friendly key cards. That's the mental side of it. You will discover that most of the key cards are plastic, non-degradable, and currently we are promoting environmental friendly, that is key cards that are made of wood. They go for the different types of key proprietors. So there are different types of them. So with this kind of keys are degradable. So they work, that's on that. We are also consulting for it goes into a sewage recycling system that turns it to water and gas. And that gas is used to power the burners in the kitchen. That's actually happening. And yes, in Nigeria is there for now, but like in Dubai, the eco-friendly car is actually working. That's from where we met with the manufacturer and imported it to now. Like the sewage system that recycles is actually being implemented in one of the hotels we are consulting for at the moment. So that is part of it that is coming into the system, industry, and it's pretty new for us in Africa and Nigeria. I'm sure that the next couple of years we'll be able to achieve some of these goals that are being mentioned. And of course, some of the hotels, like in recent times, are talking about green, and that's avoid that pollute the system. And this, you have a lot of hotels coming together, be able to fund this infrastructure and share the cost. So that is also happening. And part of the things we are doing in our firm is to we can bring up a lot of innovations to reduce costs and also the environment. Now, that's on that. Then quickly to contribute with the cost, food cost of that. Yes, my senior colleague, I think TEF will be a function of what kind of control system have within your organization to avoid that. But principally, what we could, the factors we could look at in cost control, we now look at in terms of appropriate purchasing, appropriate portioning, and the right pricing. I think factors you need to consider in making sure that you have an optimal cost of it and the output as well. But I think what is more worrisome for me as an operator is the fact that what could be an pricing, menu pricing, bearing in mind that a cube of Maggi today costs 1 naira and by tomorrow it is 5 naira. So are you going to go back and forth? I mean, and of course this program to be going back and forth on the work. So this, for me, is the fundamental problem we are having currently in the country. Today, if I give a menu price of 7,000 for a plate of food, and that comes to the food cost of about 30-40%. Tomorrow, that same menu price will give me a cost of 50%. It might not necessarily mean that there is theft going on the usage, but just that the price are fluctuating on a daily basis or hourly basis. Thank you.
I think, thank you very much. Yes, one more comment. Please, microphone, that's the microphone. The microphone, please. Who has it? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Kunya. I work for Ace Hotels. All right, I will respond first to 28. Some of us in the industry graduates. So in my days in Peru, we had a policy, what we call the green policy. So if you look at, say, the Capital Alliance, it's a company I'm sure you know that, Capic. So they came up with what we call the Protea Select properties. So you will find Keja, you will find Benin, you will find Owerri, and I happen to have opened the one in Takoradi in Ghana. So one of the things we had, gas plant. So our food, for example, we had a staff kitchen and a staff restaurant. So all the energy, including the lighting, is powered from our biogas. Now, if you know Ghana very well, the Takoradi area, which is a part of the Volta region, it's very difficult to even get water. So we had to do a lot of recycling. So we're literally 5 minutes into the tank. But surprisingly, water from the urinals, waters from the kitchen, waters from the laundry especially, because they use heavy amount of water. So that's what we use in watering our plants. So when you come into the compound, the first thing you meet that is so exciting is the greenery of our grasses, and then it was a policy then that all our plants must be green. And if we tell you these are watered from good proteins in those water when they are recycled, including room cleaning and laundry, so yes, the industry, I would say, it stops in those areas. And I think there's a whole lot of things coming in now, like e-vehicles, for example, to run your...
2 minutes, sir.
Yeah, sorry, I'm done. To run your shuttle services and all that. Yes, so we're tops. Last thing I want to say, well, for us at this hotel, our food costs differently. From your cost per cover. So in your restaurant pricing, where you're pricing per person, per cover, that's where those dynamics of how much is your Maggi and all that comes in. But for your food cost, that's strictly from the chef. And it's simply I need to have on the side discussion with him. I'm not very sure if technology will help us there.
No, of course, there are technologies that enables you to do the academics itself, opening, closing, and all of that. You get they are there, but you know, for me,
this is getting very interesting, and please, Mr. Brian, I think what we're going to do, if you permit me, sir, this is just showing us that we need to focus more on professionalism in this industry. This is just whether I'm playing the game by the rules of the game. About the model that we're using, how can this help us in the model of business? You know, somebody spoke about 6% Yes. Now, what are you offering us in IOH so that we can have something here, just briefly, and then we'll close it.
The offering is available for anyone starting up or expanding. And analyze what the opportunity, the services being offered. If it's a kitchen, if it's a bakery, if it's a hotel, or if it's a laundry.
I have a question for you.
The last one.
Yeah, as a consultant, this and payment, they sign an agreement with you. At the end of the day, you've given them the equipment they are using. How do you ensure that you get the money back from them? you put a lien on their property? What?
I mean,
within today, getting him prepared for Friday. This young boy is just 90, and he's still alive. Let me transfer this to Mrs. Daniel. That is very important, giving us more passion, and enabling environment for us to be